Hello everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. Today everyone's getting a glow up. Between episodes I have gone ahead and bought 99 high potions and 99 ethers. Because of course I have. They're super cheap and I want to be as efficient as possible with my healing. And I stayed at the inn in Cornelia because I can now. Because I can just fly there and it costs 30 gil and it's amazing. We are going to the Citadel of Trials, which is over here, but as you may remember, we can only land on green. No forests, no rivers, none of this marsh stuff, and the nearest patch of green is all the way over here. So bad news, we do have to do a bit of walking. Good news, there are some new enemies starting with this basilisk. Bad news, okay, bad's doing a bit of heavy lifting here. Almost every single enemy, in fact every single enemy we're going to meet on the way to the Citadel of Trials has no weakness. So starting with the Basilisk, not that special, but yeah, get rid of it. Don't want to deal with any of... I can't remember if you can petrify, it's never happened to me. But there you go. Sphinx we've already got. What I'll be doing is I'll be hanging around the forest area, and as soon as I come into a battle with a new enemy, I will cut to it. So I'll see you there. Alright, finally. Alright, were-tigers. The first of many of this type of enemy. And they're quite varied in terms of what they do, but this is just a run-of-the-mill beast. Just dies to Thundaga, but no weaknesses, just no HP, so nothing to worry about there. Oh, yeah, there we go, another new enemy, the Worm, of the Dragon variety, not of the Earthworm Gym variety. Again, oh, I've run out of Thundaga charges, that's not great. No weaknesses to speak of, but not the most resistant to magic, so one charge of Thundaga or Fire should do it, if you have the intelligence on your black mages. If not, you'll be fine. And finally, the Sabertooth. So the Lesser Tiger is the yellow one, the Sabertooth is the black one. There is almost no difference between them other than the Sabertooth has a bit more HP. And just got one shot by my monk. 400 damage is insane. And I got a sleeping bag. Great. Now that is it for the monsters on the way to the Citadel of Trials, except this part of the U-bend round towards the other side and the desert below it, you might just be able to see it, is home to an entirely new encounter table, starting with this sandworm. No weaknesses, but does have access to Earthquake, which is an AoE instant death. Very embarrassing. So be very careful if you're fighting sandworms. But yeah, there's only one more enemy to find. Hopefully this will be quick. Yeah, it was the very next encounter actually. Wyvern, similar to the worm, except dies just as easily. Never mind. They do have different HP totals, but honestly, doesn't really matter. That is all the enemies on the way to the Citadel of Trials. As I said, you can also find those enemies in the desert to the southeast, you can see on screen there. If you have the ship, and you obviously do have the ship, and you have the canoe, what you can do is that you can bring the ship to this river here and use the canoe, but I wanted to get the airship first. It just makes sense. We're going to go across, and remember, all the river encounters are the same in the entire game. Alright, let's go down and around to the Citadel of Trials. Nothing on the first floor in terms of encounters. You come bearing the crown, I see. Your fortitude cannot be questioned, indeed not. Very well, I shall grant you the right to undergo the trials. Go now, sit upon the throne. Your courage will be put to the test. If true courage dwells within you, you will find proof of it here. Alright. So, we start our quest to find proof of courage by sitting on this chair. Excellent. And we come towards a maze full of warp points. This is easy if you know what you're doing. So we go into this one. And going into an incorrect one will either take you to a previous room or will just take you back to the very beginning. And we don't want that. Starting though with the enemies here, the dragon zombie. I think this is actually the rarest encounter on this floor, which is wild. Weak to fire, weak to deer as well, and can paralyze because still a zombie. Give up a ton of experience. Okay. So we just follow it round and we're going to take the bottom. Very slow transitions, which is slightly annoying, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Then we're going to go take the bottom one again. I had to think about that. Really embarrassing. Go down, get into another encounter. Mind flayers. Oh, geez. Oh, no. I have just enough. Oh, they're so fast. They're so fast. Stop it. Monk fell over again. Not great. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be okay here. That's the second Phoenix sound I've had to use this episode. Down we go. Yeah, mind flayers are still here. And then we take the one to the right. Then head all the way east. More mind flayers. Oh, ambush. No, 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 no. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Oh, gee. So even though they're a bit resistant to fire, Firaga is doing it. That's good to know. There is one chest on this floor. It contains a potion. And then there are a ton of enemies that we still need to run into. King Mummy is the first one, though. Similar to the mummies we've encountered previously. Can paralyze you. And it's dead. Yeah, again. The smaller enemies in this game, once the monk gets up and going, basically get one shot by him, which is really good to know. Okay, and then we go down here and we take this one I'm standing next to, and that will take us to the next floor. Like so. Et voila, those are the stairs to the next floor. Before that, though, there are a few more encounters I would like to run into. So I'm going to find them, and I will be right back. Rakshaka! Nope, that's not how you say it. Rakshasa. There we go. Nothing special about these guys other than the fact they have insane magic defense. So I'm just going to stick to physical attacks. Monk's going to deal with them. Oh, my black mages are doing absolutely nothing. Not great. So maybe I will be using AoE magic with them still. But still, good to know that my black mages are so weak, I will not be able to fix that. How weak are they? Strength 12, 8. Oh, Black Mage 2 has 8. That's wild. Although the intellect difference is insane. Black Mage 1, 36. Black Mage 2, 41. I don't think I've ever seen a disparity that large. Wow. Okay. That's nuts. Minotaur Zombie. Similar to Dragon Zombie. Also weak to fire. Also can hit hard. Nothing more to say, really. GG. Oh yeah, quick experiment on the Rakshakas. Can cast Kiraja. I forgot to mention that. As I said, super resistant to magic. Just something to be aware of. Next up, Medusa. Nothing special about them other than the fact that they can petrify. And they set on fire real easy. Yeah, just like most enemies here, if you can just deal with them on turn 1, you're not going to have any problems. Here we go, the last ones, Horned Devils. They resist everything except thunder. So bear that in mind. They shouldn't have that much HP. They do have access to firers of their own. They're quite high on the defense side. There you go. Thundara does deal with it. So don't worry about whipping out your Thundagas. Not necessary with those guys at this point. And that was the final encounter of the second floor. Let's move up. there are a few things I'd like to pick up here on the 3rd floor, starting with this fixed encounter of the nightmares. Nothing particularly special. They have this ability called Snort, which can blind a single target, but it doesn't have a good hit rate at its best, and at its worst, it targets the petrified warrior. So good times. Okay, in here we've got a healing staff, and then we've got 3 chests over here, and here we've got steel gloves, ice brand, and ruby armlet. The ruby armlet is super important. It's an excellent upgrade for the monk and his defense, whilst giving barely any agility penalty. And then we'll cascade the armlets down. Black Mage 1 will get a silver armlet, and Black Mage 2 will finally graduate from starting equipment and grab the copper armlet. Now, of course, I have skipped shops throughout this playthrough. You could have bought a copper armlet a lot sooner, but honestly, with the strategy we've employed, it's not been needed. So yeah, there you go. But if you do need that safety net, or you feel mega uncomfortable, you can buy stuff for them. But I hope I've showed you in this playthrough that it's not necessary. There is a monster in the box here, and another new encounter, the Clay Golem. Resists all magic and has a very high magic defense. So I'm going to save my spell charges here. They don't really do anything. They haste themselves, they slow other characters down, and that's about it. But not that much of a threat. We pick up gauntlets, we pick up a cottage, 1,455 gil, and 7,340. Excellent. And finally, the rat's tail. This, for some reason, that's right, the body part of a vermin is the symbol of courage. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Before we can leave though, there is one final fight against 2 dragon zombies. Again, which was the very first encounter we had here, I think. Or was it 1? Doesn't matter. They die the same way the others die. Being set on fire. Excellent. Time to head out. That is everything we need to do in the Citadel of Trials. I will head all the way back to the airship. I will see you there. Okay, I am back at the airship, and it is time to head to these tiny islands to the south of where we were previously. Let's go with that. So there are 2 new enemies on these islands that I would like to look for, and they're not the most common, and they could be a problem. So I'll find them and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. First enemy, Beretta. Hits hard, defends harder. Very high defense, very high magic defense. You've just got to outlast it. See, it hits for 300. But luckily my monk hits just as hard and we get through in the end. But yeah, you may be picking up dead bodies of your own if you're not careful. That's one of the encounters. Let's find the other. Here it is, the Manticore, the palette swap of Sphinx. Unlike the Sphinx though, the Manticore has a rather nasty multi-target attack which can poison your allies. Called Poison Darts. There you go. I'm so glad it showed us what it was about. But paper defense. So they're fast, they can poison, but they go down pretty easily. That was both encounters. Now it's time to go treasure chest shopping. By the way, you should have all 10 chests from the Citadel of Trials. There are many islands and many entrances, but I'm going to show you the ones that matter, starting with this one. If you go in here, there are 3 chests. One for 2750, one for 2000, and one for 1455 gil. Then, if we go here, there's a dragon. Let's talk to the dragon. Only the truly brave can attain a token of their courage. Yeah, the dragons here won't attack you. That's 9500 gil, 2750, 1520, and an X potion. That's a lot of gil and a rather nifty healing item which will be used sparingly, but it will be used. That's 7 of the 13 chests. Then I want to get into my magic spaceship. You don't want to go on this island. You want to go to this one. By the way, there is an achievement for getting all the locations on the world map. And going into one entrance here counts as getting all the entrances for this location. So just bear that in mind. Anyway, we've got an elixir. We've got a cottage and we've got 1,000 gil. These chests are getting rather ridiculous in terms of their content, which is good for us. And then the third island I want to go to for chests is this one. Could you imagine if it's not? That'd be very embarrassing. But it is. We've got a tent. And then down here, no encounters, by the way. We've got a dry ether and a gold needle. Brilliant. That is 13 out of 13. But we are not done here. Next stop, I want to go to the island that's north of the marshy one. And I want to take the right entrance. Don't take the left one. This is the one we want. We're going to go all the way down. Yeah, you good job I set the speed to run and not walk at the beginning of the game. Otherwise, we'd still be here. We are still here. That was really bad commentary. Don't worry about it. And we are going to meet Bahamut, King of the Dragons. Long has it been since men of courage stood before me. Your bravery seems worthy of consideration. The rat's tail you carry is a fitting token of courage and strength. So be it, I shall honour you with titles befitting your valour. Let's go! Excellent. Token of courage for gaining titles of courage from Bahamut. So, the Master is the upgrade for Monk. Black Wizards are the upgrade for Black Mages. And the Warrior is still a statue. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's head out of here. Oh, now, yes, today was a slightly shorter episode, but it's a setup for what is to come. In the next episode, we are going to make all the necessary preparations to head to our second dungeon of the game, and a bit extra as well. But until then, thank you so much for watching, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye bye!